My name is Dylan Black. Welcome to another edition of Daytime Ottawa right here on Rogers TV. It's an honor to open up the show here with a guy who served as city councillor for Bay Ward for 8 years. Then he said, I'm going to do something else. Just like that, he's got a new role. He's now the vice president of the resource development section of United Way. Mark Taylor joins us. Hello.
Hello.
Wonderful to have you.
We've never
here.
Got to sit together before.
Never.
Talk about
We've
things.
hardly ever
or
spent
ran
time
into
together.
each other at anything. Yeah.
Seems like it's monthly for sure. 2 terms is what you served as a city councillor, and this wasn't because you were voted out. You, before you ran the first time, said, I'm only going to do this 2 terms, and you stuck to it. Why did you do that?
You're like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I actually thought that I was coming to this as a way of serving the community. And it wasn't something that I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life in terms of elected office. I thought there's got to be great ways to serve your community in a variety of different paths. I thought elected office was a wonderful way to start that effort, and so I did that. But, you know, I think communities work well when everybody has a chance to step up. And so, you know, I thought I was going to go, bring what I could, and then take a step back and let someone else take the wheel.
Nice. And you've now at the United Way, I mean, that's a pretty big role as well. We'll talk about that in seconds, but I want to ask you some of your big accomplishments at City Hall. What would be 1 or 2 of them?
You know, I would say, so I'll give you 3.
Okay.
Okay. So one's a little bit more city building. You know, that would be helping to plan the light rail path for the 2nd stage of Light Rail West, because that was a real conundrum. How do we get from Tunney's Pasture out to Canada? So participating in that work, you know, and now I know we're all waiting for the rail to roll, but participating in that work was really, really good. And I think city building wise, it's great. Secondly, you know, I spent a lot of time working on homelessness and housing. We authored a report last year on homelessness and housing at the city, and you know, I've had the opportunity to kind of leave behind some markers that I hope will guide our city forward on homelessness. That was really rewarding stuff. And the last thing I'll mention, you know, very small thing, unless you live in that neighborhood, was we built a park. It was the first new park in our ward in over 30 years, and it really made a difference. It was a life-changing difference to this very small Ottawa community housing neighborhood that you wouldn't even know was there driving by on the street. That's how small it is. But for the kids who live there, big difference.
One day they might call it Mark Taylor Park.
I hope not.
Know. But
no.
you have to be, usually it's when you pass, okay, let's not think about it, okay, Mark?
Yeah.
Down the road, tell us about your latest role. Like I mentioned, big role, United Way.
Yeah.
Must be happy to be a part of this organization.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I had the opportunity to serve on the board of United Way for the last 5 years. I stepped down from that to take this position with them as their VP of Resource Development. You know, my role is really, you know, yes, there's fundraising, but my role is really to ensure that the team at the United Way have everything that they need to do the good work that they're doing. So everything from not just financial resources, but also relationships and, you know, partnerships, those types of things. I think the United Way does great work in our community and region-wide. And so to be part of that team, I think on a day-to-day basis is going to be real fun.
Probably a silly question because I think I already know the answer, but why is this role so important to a guy like you?
You know, because it connects to a lot of the work I was doing at City Hall, right? All of the, not that I didn't cherish every moment at City Hall and all of the tasks that we had to do there, but the runs that were really gratifying were the ones where I could see that we were building up community, we were helping level the playing field for people who were, you know, living with challenges around equity and equality. And so the United Way is engaged in a lot of that work day to day. So that's why it speaks to the kind of the passion inside.
What are some of the big roles, or the big issues that the United Way are working on currently? Well,
you know, just open the newspaper. A lot of the things that our community is challenged with are things that the United Way is in some way engaged in helping, right? Ending youth homelessness is a big a piece that we're working on right now, as well as helping folks with addictions issues, particularly youth with addictions issues, avoid as well as help them come through addictions issues. And at the other end of the spectrum, you know, we're talking about youth. At the other end of the spectrum, we just released, both in Ottawa and in partnership with the other United Ways across the region, a report on vulnerable seniors. You know we live in this aging demographic. United Way has done a lot of work around what it means to be a vulnerable senior and how we can start building our capacity to ensure that our seniors live out their lives here in our community healthy and successful.
Mental health, still something that...
Mental health is another big area where, you know, United Way is still active and certainly has a lot of great partnerships, including, you know, with organizations like the Ottawa Sens Foundation and others. And, you know, we're really moved every single day, not just by the volunteers within and outside our organization who come to help, but also by all of the donors, whether they're donating resources or time or money, who align themselves to the causes that we believe are going to lift our community.
Okay. Do you miss City Hall? I know it's only been a few months because you left in November.
Yep.
It must be different to switch gears and all of a sudden get up every day and dress up and go to a different place of work.
Different building, yeah. You know what? I don't miss it, and I think it was because I was planning on leaving. Right? I mean, this was an 8-year journey for me at City Hall, and I knew I was leaving on a certain date. So I don't miss it. I don't have any regrets. There isn't a day that I get up and say, oh, geez, I wish I was in the old job. And that's, I think, in a large part due to the fact that I love going to work at United Way every day.
That's good. Good answer. Spoken like a former politician. Do you ever think about running again down the road? Is that something like even a higher office?
You know what? I didn't have a plan that I was going to, step away and then try and make a comeback or anything like that. I mean, my goal was to help continue building our community, right? The path that takes, in the distant years future, I can't predict, but for now I have no plans of running in the future. Yeah.
With just under a minute left, tell us how people can make a difference and make a donation.
Well, first of all, go to United Way Ottawa. So, you can Google it, United Way Ottawa, or you can follow us on our social media feeds and track the links back to our page. You can certainly give to United Way online. I'd ask you to consider not just a financial gift, but also just read a little bit on our website, follow us on social media, help retweet and echo what we're talking about, because your social power as well helps us to do the work that we need to do in our community.
Okay, it's not a term job, so you're not going for 2 terms here?
No, I didn't make a term commitment going to the United Way.
So you could be there for as long as you want, because you're
as long as I'm useful to them.
You're going to be useful, because I know if I can say, and we were joking about it at the beginning, but you've been a part of so many of my events, and I can't thank you enough. So Mark, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
UnitedWayOttawa.ca.
Thank you.
Much continued success.
Thank you.
Ahead. More daytime coming up in moments on Rogers TV.